Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. Today, once again, is Friday, so we have our Friday weekly update. As always, Xur has returned, and Trials of Osiris this week. This is actually the last Trials before we get a huge update to Trials, which I think is long overdue and everybody will benefit from. But I'm going to cover those two things, as well as all the other farms, glitches, cheeses that you can use heading into the weekend if you haven't had a chance to play very much this week. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell, the post notifications, so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. And remember, any of those things that I just mentioned will also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers. So you never want to miss out. When we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series or a new PlayStation or a video card if you play on PC. Can also leave any comment down below on any of the topics that we discuss, or if there's a specific word that maybe I mispronounce, or something that I ask for from the audience, because I always like to hear your thoughts in the comment section about any particular topic that we cover. You can leave that. That'll also give you another entry into the next giveaway, or you can stick around till the end of the video for the secret hashtag you can leave in the comment section to be entered into the giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, any of those things I just mentioned stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course do it again. So starting off with Xur's Catalyst this week, we have the Izanagi's Burden Catalyst, which I have apparently not completed yet, even though this weapon's been around forever, since the Black Armory days. A really great weapon. Maybe doesn't need the catalyst to be effective, because I don't find myself using it that often, but is one of those sort of niche weapons for specific boss damage when it comes to things like raids. I remember the Garden of Salvation raid was really good for, well, this weapon was really good to use in the Garden of Salvation raid. I'm trying to remember. It was, I think, the second encounter where you had to fight the big harpy. That was sort of the go-to, or this was the go-to for that encounter. So pick it up if you don't have it. It's certainly has its place, and you never know. There might be a future encounter in a specific dungeon or raid or who knows what else that this really comes in handy with. And I think it's just a good weapon to have all around. If you don't have the catalyst, pick it up. We have the Arbalest Catalyst, which I think is much more of a go-to, and this is one that I would definitely pick up now because we have the launch of Heresy on Tuesday, and linear fusion rifles are going to be in the Champions meta. They're going to be getting, I believe, if they haven't already, a buff. But overall, the Arbalest is going to be a must-have, I think, for most of the endgame content, especially for things like, I think there's going to be a world's first dungeon race. I don't know specifically if fusion rifles are going to be favored in that, but because they are kind of favored for the episode Heresy, I would guess, this is just a guess, that linear fusion rifles and fusion rifles in general are going to be very good in that dungeon. So not only is this a great weapon and a great catalyst to have overall, because it's really great for things like GMs, just general endgame content, but I think it's also going to be super good heading into the next episode. Unfortunately, apparently, because this does have an intrinsic perk on it, which breaks barrier champions, it will not double up because it's a catalyst for the champions mods next season, but it'll just be a good one to have because of the combination linear and normal fusion rifle mods that we're going to have in the artifact. So again, pick up this catalyst if you don't have it. We have the Assassin's Cowl for the Hunter class with a 62 total roll, very low stat distribution. Yeah, I would maybe skip on this unless you don't have it at all, in which case there are some good builds that you can do with this one. Power melee kills and finishers grant invisibility and healing. This used to be really great for arc builds. I'm sure it still is really great for arc builds, though I don't know if arc builds are the way to go currently with hunters. Let me know what the real great PvE meta is for hunters. If you're using this exotic, let me know in the comments section down below. Or if there's another build that you think this might work better with, or if it's really only specific to Arc, or if Arc is the thing. I'd be very interested to your thoughts in the comments section. We have the Ursa Furiosa, gain the Sentinel Shield or Unbreakable for more super energy. 65 total roll, decent stat distribution overall, so not a terrible exotic, and very good stat distribution, mid-tier total stats. Pick it up if you don't have it, I would say, just based on the fact that it's mostly into resilience through intellect. 65 isn't bad. You could definitely build into this one. But then we have the Getaway Artist for the Warlock class with a 63 total roll. I really wish that this was a little bit higher. If this was 65, for example, I would say definitely pick this up. But for Prismatic, this is still the go-to, in my opinion. Again, that's just my opinion. The go-to exotic to use for Prismatic on a Warlock. Just because you can get the... Well, there's different combinations, but essentially you can get the 2 turrets, you can get the Helion or the Arc turret, or you could go Stasis and get Helion with Stasis turrets. And remember that you'll get a new Stasis turret every single time you can consume your grenades. So you can have up to like 3 Stasis turrets if you build into that really, really well. I always find myself using this exotic. So again, if you don't have it, even though this isn't the best stat distribution and is sort of low stats overall, pick it up. We don't have exotic class items this week. Instead, we have an exotic Cipher only, so sort of a letdown when it comes to that. But hopefully next week with the launch of Heresy, we'll have a whole bunch of new stuff. But pick up the exotic Cipher if you're looking to turn any one of these exotics into essentially a piece of Artifice Armor, so you can get that extra stat bonus. Lots of exotic Ciphers to pick up this week, since we have the 2, as well as the exotic Cipher quest. Remember, you can get red border weapons from the strange Engrams, so it's never a bad idea to rank up Xur. A lot of people don't know that you can actually get the red borders from here. It's been a big update. Xur's random Engrams are actually very, very good now. Pick up the Favor of the 9 buff if you're looking to farm out strange coins. Remember, this stacks 3 times over 3 weeks. We have Ascendant Alloy for 71 strange coins. You get 2 Ascendant Alloy. We have 3 enhancement cores for 5 strange coins. We have 7 enhancement cores for 7 strange coins. 30,000 Glimmer for 5 strange coins, and 44,000 Glimmer for 7 strange coins. I always think that the Glimmer is definitely the best deal of any of the materials offered. Although a lot of people say, why are you buying Glimmer? Most people have enough Glimmer. I know, but it's just cheap. I mean, come on. I obviously don't need it right now, but if you do need a good shot of Glimmer, just for odds and ends, Xur is always the cheapest place, in my opinion. We have 3 Crucible Engrams for 31 strange coins, and then we have, of course, our strange gifts. Remember, you can get random things from the strange gifts, like raid banners and such, though you probably will end up with blue armor more often than not. Over on our strange gear offers, the real fun stuff from Xur, we have our Hawkmoon with Hipfire Grip, Polymer Grip. Not bad for PvP. We have our Monte Carlo with, well, with the normal stuff. I don't know. I always go after I say Hawkmoon. I always assume that the rest are going to have some random perks on it, but they don't. I always kind of forget. But we have a Monte Carlo. We have our Borealis, and we have the Wardcliff Coil again. This seems to have been brought a lot. Either we get the Wardcliff Coil or we get the Catalyst for the Wardcliff Coil. I wonder if they're trying to tell us something. Remember, I would say pick up the Wardcliff Coil because there are certain bosses that this weapon just nukes. Most notably the final boss in the Shattered Throne, or other bosses occasionally in the past that were not actually coded properly. So occasionally a particular boss might be coded as a vehicle instead of an actual boss. Things like the Devil's Lair boss was that way. When it was, it's been fixed, unfortunately. This weapon would just nuke them in one shot. So it's always a good one to have just on hand, because you never know when that's going to happen again. And yeah, because of particular coding glitches that Bungie may or may not, see a need to fix, this can be a really, really great weapon. But it's just a good weapon to have overall. Monte Carlo, I would say, is good for PvP. Borealis, I haven't found myself using in a while. But let me know in the comments section down below if you're going to be picking up any of these, or which one you think is the best pickup. I would really, again, always interested to hear your comments down below. For legendary weapons, we have a Dire Promise with Snapshot Sight and Osmosis. Probably not bad for PvP. We have a Whispering Slab with Killing Wind and Sympathetic Arsenal. We have a First In, Last Out with Hipfire Grip and Opening Shot. We have a Pleiades Corrector with Subsistence and Sympathetic Arsenal. We have an Interference 6 with Field Prep and Full Court. We have a Negative Space with Enduring Guard, Tireless Blade, and Disruption Break. And then for the Warlocks, we have the Eternity's Edge Sword with Infinite Guard, Thresh, and Counterattack. None of these really stood out to me. Some fairly decent weapons. I always like First In, Last Out as a shotgun, but not this role. So, again, let me know in the comment section down below if you're going to be picking any of these up. The Grenade Launcher also might not be bad. Dire Promise seems like it could be pretty good for PvP. Sympathetic Arsenal on a couple of weapons here. Sympathetic Arsenal, though it's going to be slightly renamed, is going to be one of the artifact mods for fusion rifle, linear fusion rifles, I believe, heading into Heresy. So, yeah, kind of interesting that we see a couple of weapons with that. For legendary armor, 66 roll on the gauntlets for the Warlock, but not a terribly good stat distribution. But the helmet is a 68 roll. So usually what that means, even though I would have loved to have seen mobility in like anything else other than mobility, having any roll that is this high on one character usually means that there's something in that range, at least one piece on all three classes. So let me know in the comments section down below if you're on a Hunter or Titan, if there is a standout piece like this. I'm sure there will be, but also if the stat distribution is worth it. So, yeah, might be worth looking at all the legendary armor this particular week, just because there is something that high. And, yeah, 68 is very good. Even if it's not Artifice Armor, 68 is a very good roll. And that's going to conclude all the information regarding Xur today. Hopefully you found something in the Xur portion of this video helpful. We are now going to make our way around the tower a little bit. We'll stop at Banshee 44. We'll stop at Commander Zavala. And then, of course, we'll make our way over to Saint 14 to talk a little bit about Trials this week. As I said before, remember Trials is going to be getting a big update. Everybody's going to be able to go to the tower now, which I think is so long overdue. Even if you don't let me loot the chest in the tower, at least let me go there on 7 wins. I mean, like, it's a whole location. I've paid for it. People have paid for it. Let me go and see it. I mean, come on. I just want to hang out with Saint 14 in on Mercury. I mean, like, is that too much to ask for? Let me know what you think about the change to Trials in the comment section down below. Remember, any of those things I've asked for will also give you another entry into the next giveaway for this video. I think it's a very good addition, the fact that everybody will be able to go to the lighthouse, and I think it's just going to be a big boon for Trials overall. No pun intended. As far as Banshee 44 loot is concerned, this is a good Typhoon. This is a good Disparity. And the Braze Love is also not bad. Imperial Decree, Deep Sight Activation Weapon, good on that end. Pizzicato needs to stop being sold. This weapon is sold so much. I mean, who has this weapon? Who uses it? I want to know. Who's using this in 2025? Just a completely, like, base submachine gun, Suros submachine gun. Like, it just seems like like, I feel like this is the kind of weapon we could just delete from the game. Like, you know? Like, I'm not about sunsetting, but I am about removing certain weapons. In any case, disparity is probably the thing that I would pick up, just because we have Outlaw, we have Desperado, Ambush, all of these things. We have Stability, Masterwork. This is going to be a good PvP weapon, in my opinion. The 450s are excellent right now after they received a buff, so any 450 pulse rifle is really great meta at the moment. I really like this disparity. It's a shame it doesn't have Headstone, because then it would be a really good PvE roll, but overall a good one. This is also a good Typhoon with Explosive Light and the Braze Love. Yeah, no distraction, Precision Instrument, Head Rush, all good perks. But yeah, let me know. Who's using the Pizzicato? Who's using the Pizzicato? I really want to know in 2025. Who has that and is like using it in PvE or PvP? I don't think anybody is. But I swear to God, that weapon has been sold through Banshee 44 at least 4 of the last like 5 times I've checked. So, yeah. Interesting. Over at Commander Zavala, we have a very good weapon available this week from the Nightfall and the Adept version. From the GM Nightfall, we have the Undercurrent Grenade Launcher. This can compete with Forbearance, Waveframe, Arc Grenade Launcher. I could see this not only being very good at the moment, but also very good heading into Heresy. So, you know, even though fusion rifles are going to be the thing in Heresy, pick it up if you don't have it. Worth the farm. I believe the Nightfall for this week is also a reasonable one to farm, if I remember correctly. Let's just check it out real fast. We have the Birthplace of the Vile. Yes, very easy farm. Not normally, historically, an easy strike, but under the current circumstances and rotation of Nightfall strikes, it is definitely the easiest and fastest to farm. And also with Prismatic, it's just kind of a pushover. The boss, at least. Used to not be, but now, yeah, Prismatic just kind of eats it up. Heading over to Saint 14 really quick. We'll talk about Trials a little bit more, but first, the Adept weapon for this week. Remember, this is the last week of Trials before the big changeover, and again, I think long overdue, but this week we have the Prophet Adept. So yeah, I think it's going to be the real diehards are going to be playing Trials of Osiris this week. I think most people are going to be waiting until the changeover. But, you know, the Prophet, I think there's some decent PvE roles for it, but that's why I think it's really going to be diehard Trials players this weekend, just because Trials players really don't care about PvE that much, and yeah, this is going to be one of those weapons where, yeah, it's decent, maybe PvE, probably some decent PvP rolls as well, but for the average non-competitive Trials player, nah, it's not going to be a go-to. For Trials this week, though, we do have rotating maps, so that's fun. Enjoy that while we have it. In other news, over on the moon, I didn't mean to hit that, but over on the moon, we have one of our featured dungeons in the Duality. Also gives Artifice Armor. Over on the Dreaming City, if it loads, which it tends to not want to do. All right, Dreaming City, come on. Come on, Directory. Come on, Bungie servers. Like, what is this? I mean, like, give me a break. What do we got here? Nothing? All right, well, there's a dungeon on the moon. So, you know, go do that if that's something you want. Let's try it one more time. Is it going to open? Yes, there we go. All right, Bungie servers. Yes, thank you very much. We have the Shattered Throne dungeon. We also have the Last Wish raid. And today's featured Legendary Lost Sector is the Chamber of Starlight. Very easy one to farm out. So if you're interested in doing that. I believe over on Savathun's Throne World, we have our other featured. I thought something was featured here, but maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's the, what's the other featured raid? Man, these servers are really making it difficult today. Not going to open. Okay. We're going to quit it there. I think everybody probably knows what the other featured raid and dungeon are. But I did want to talk about a couple of other things. One, the enhanced weapons from Eris Morn. Now, we did talk about the Bento token glitch previously, where you could get more Bento tokens, but I did want to reiterate, and I talked about this in my previous video, so if you want a little bit more detail about it, you can head over there. But any weapon that is being sold from Eris Morn through the Bento Token event is now enhanceable, even if you had one that wasn't enhanceable. So if you got, God, why is nothing loading? But say you got a Cold Denial and it was old, like the one that I had, or excuse me, a Riptide. I don't know why I said Cold Denial, but say you had a Riptide that wasn't enhanceable. It is now enhanceable, and you can get like Chill Clip enhanced. Anything that was on that list has now been retroactively made enhanceable, including a whole bunch of other stuff that is not on that list. So anything that was released in the last 2 years is now an enhanced weapon. So go through your vaults, see if there's anything in there that works. Igneous Hammer is on that list. I think it has to be within the last 2 years, though. But I would suggest going to, you know, Lord Shacks and maybe farming out something like the Riptide. Instead of buying the one from Eris Morn for a token, you know, you could just go and spend some Engrams there. Or just farming out any of these weapons that you might see as being meta heading into Heresy. I don't know if this was an intentional thing or not. I have a feeling it was partially intentional and partially not. So I think they meant to make certain weapons enhanced, and certain ones became enhanced because of the process of making older weapons enhanced. But a lot of people don't know this. So go and enhance your old weapons. Just do it. I mean, Heresy's right around the corner, guys. Do it while you can. Also, you know, the grenade launcher from Eris Morn is very, very good. So pick up that one if you don't have it. The other thing that I wanted to discuss, and this really has nothing to do with playing the game, so to speak, but kind of is a fun little thing. It's a cosmetic thing, so if you're not a cosmetic person, but we, of course, got the Chatterwhite Shader when the Bento Token missions were released. And I've heard a lot of people say the problem with the Chatterwhite Shader is it's not really that white. And you're right, it's actually kind of blue. However, if you look at my character here, the armor looks pretty white. So what am I doing? Because people have been asking, what actually have I done to my character to make him appear even have the shader be even whiter than the Chatterwhite itself? And I'm doing a couple of unique things, so I just thought I would show you them really quick, just for fun. If you go, of course, to your customization screen, you'll notice that I do have the Chatterwhite shader on my helmet because it is the most white shader that you could have for your helmet. Same thing with the gauntlets. Same thing with your class item. However, on my boots and on my chest piece, I have two different ones. I actually have the Bitter Pearl on my boots because that's actually more white than the Chatterwhite itself, interestingly enough. And then we have the Crucible Solemnity, I believe that's how it's pronounced, for the chest piece, which even though it shows a bit of red on, doesn't actually display any red on the character when you're wearing it. The only thing that will stand out that's a bit different, most of it will be more white. You'll get a silver on like your chest piece here, and you'll get a couple of little accents here, but I think for the most part, because those things are the same when you wear a Chatterwhite, this is actually a brighter shader overall. So if you're looking to wear the whitest possible shader available, this is the combo. And I've just had a couple people ask me about it, so I thought I would address it in today's video. But that is going to conclude all the information for this Friday. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful or fun. Really would love to hear all your comments about any of the topics we discussed in the comment section down below. If you've watched to this far in the video, you can also leave a hashtag Xur or a hashtag a Final Shape or a hashtag Heresy or a hashtag Trials of Osiris because it's right around the corner. Any of those things, of course, will enter you into any future giveaways. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend, and of course, I am Wilhelm Scream. We will see you next time.